Something that kills you or somebody around you.
Falling from a building.
Skydiving without a parachute.
Maybe a stampede. Untied shoes.
Monkeys.
Ninjas for sure.
The mafia.
Bad takeout.
Somebody with a samurai sword trying to chop somebody's head off.
A bobcat.
Oh, a bad dad joke is very deadly.
So what do you consider lethal? For most, it's either the dangers they sense immediately around them, or it's based on an experience they had. We asked random people what they thought was the #1 killer of teens in America. Here's what they said.
I want to say drunk driving.
Drunk driving.
Yeah.
Sex, drugs, and alcohol.
Possibly drug overdose?
Drugs.
Cigarettes.
Drinking.
Online dating.
The #1 killer of teens in America is something we've all participated in: reckless and distracted driving. We have all seen someone send a text while driving, post a picture, dig through a bag, or turn to talk to friends, all while supposedly keeping their eyes on the road. So, for the next few minutes, we want to show you the lives that have been shattered by reckless and distracted driving, and the simple things that you can do to avoid becoming a statistic.
Nuba police say they now have a prime example of the damage distracted driving can cause.
A Central California teenager is behind bars after a car crash that killed her younger sister.
Live on Instagram while driving, her younger sister was killed. The crash was all recorded, and this is a distracted driver. There were 2 minors in the car, and they were not wearing seatbelts.
Life vigil to remember Christine Martinez, who was just 17 years old when she was killed in that crash.
The 18-year-old Summer Solomon was behind the wheel when she lost control, the car rolling 3 times. Martinez ejected from the vehicle. Through tears and candlelight, they gathered, united in their grief, mourning a young life cut short.
She was always so happy on the field.
Loved ones say the losses are devastating.
So what is reckless and distracted driving? Distracted driving is any time you have to take your eyes off the road, your hands off the wheel, or when your mind is not focused on driving for any reason. And reckless driving is speeding and acting like a total fool. Now for the simple part. How do we keep from needlessly dying in a car crash? That's easy. First, tell your friends that as much as you love them, to sit down and be quiet. Second, realize that you decrease the risk of crashing your car by 2,000% when you don't text and drive. Third, come to terms with the fact that you might have to wake up a few minutes earlier so you're not speeding or running stop signs while putting your life and the life of others at risk. Still not exactly sure what reckless and distracted driving is? Let's see what our resident experts have to say.
Oh, it's on?
Oh, hi, my name is Lex.
Oh, and I'm Hayden. And we're here to help you save lives.
Like mine.
Because distracted driving is deadly.
Deadlier than my grandpa's farts.
Gross, dude. Ew.
And gross like all you kissy face kids that drive. You boys are like, hey baby, give me a kiss. And you girls like, oh, you're so hot, I'll give you all the kisses in the world. Besides being nasty, you're not looking at the road.
And what's with you eating in the car? You have drink in one hand and a burger in the other. And think you could steal for your knees? You ain't Spider-Man. Do you really want your last meal to be off the dollar menu?
And last but not least, your phones. It doesn't matter if you're driving hands-free, but when you're on it, you're driving brain-free. And taking pictures of yourself and texting your friends, that's stupid.
Lex, no name calling. No matter how lame driving with your phone in the car is.
Sorry. Not sorry.
Well, a lot of you should be sorry. Seriously. You gotta cut the distracted driving. Put 2 hands on the wheel, eyes on the road, and your brain focused. The reason this is so important to me is that I recently lost my 19-year-old cousin, Christian, in a crash that was completely avoidable. And I miss him every day.
Let's see what's so distracting.
What?
Texting.
Texting?
I like to dance when I drive. Car dancing. Phones.
Trying to find the right song.
Reading a book. Food.
I get distracted by directions a lot.
Talking to friends.
Doing makeup.
I admittedly have changed and drove before. I tried to write a paper on my laptop while I was driving.
What we often hear from victims is that they never thought it would happen to them. That their son, daughter, friend, or classmate could be involved in a fatal car crash. And no one could imagine causing such a tragic event.
Let me tell you about Donovan.
He was my teammate.
He was my son.
He was a classmate.
He was my best friend.
He was my boyfriend.
My son was my baby boy.
I met Donovan in about 8th grade, and we just immediately became friends. We just connected.
And I came here before my freshman year, and he was the first person that actually talked to me.
Looking at how he interacted with others, it was something that made me proud.
Donovan was definitely a people person. He attracted all kinds.
I was playing line, and he was the running back, and I led block him all the way for a touchdown. And ever since then, we just became good friends.
I see him as the leader of the pack.
He would not only lead by example, but also try to help others sort through whatever they were going through in their own lives. A day I'll never forget. Life as I knew it ended forever.
And then we were driving home. We were just kids having fun.
I was going over the speed limit excessively, and we were blaring the music up really loud. And I noticed that we were going pretty fast, and it was causing the car to swerve back and forth.
And we were making fun of her, telling her can't you keep the car in a straight line?
My response was, oh, like this? And I jerked the wheel back and forth.
I remember all the sounds of the car crashing.
I looked around and I see Donovan, but he wasn't moving. So I sat with Danica. I kept telling her, Donovan's dead. Donovan's dead. I even remember calling out Donovan's name and, hoping that he would hear me and just get up.
The Madera Ranchos community is mourning the death of a teenager killed in a car crash early this morning.
Not my son, not my boy.
And I think that was one of the most painful things to experience, was hearing a mother cry about her son.
The screaming of a mother, just now finding out that her son is dead. And all simply because of something that was so preventable.
My life was shattered by distracted driving. The decisions made by everyone in the car, including Donovan, are what's responsible for his death. Were they bad kids? No. Did they make bad decisions? Absolutely. And my son Donovan, he knew to always wear his seatbelt. But why that night did he choose not to? I'll ask myself that question for the rest of my life. So why does my family choose to share our worst moment? Because we want each of you to remember that every time you get in a vehicle, you have to make good choices. Otherwise, it could be the last choice you make, as it was for my son Donovan.
So we've heard the compelling stories. We've seen the stats, and you understand the simplicity of the message. What is most lethal to young people is making poor choices in a car. The good news is that we have the power to change and stop the #1 killer of young people in America. When you are behind the wheel, focus on the road ahead of you and make good decisions each and every ride. If you're a passenger, don't distract the driver, and everyone gets to where they're going safely. Finally, visit whatslethal.com. Together, we can save lives.